Hi everybody, Jo here again. How you doing? I hope you're doing okay. I've come in for an extra catch up this week and a few of you have got in touch and thank you very much for that. I do try and answer all your messages as soon as I can, and we're on about Mr MoJo disappearing, and it seems January seems a bit of a month. He seems to go on holiday. So a few of you have messaged and asked me to set you some homework. So I thought we'd have a little catch up, a get together, and have a look at a fun technique that there is plenty of homework with. So this is the card design that I'm going to demonstrate, and it's very simple, but the good thing with this is you have homework to find yourself a verse to pop in the middle and then a stamp to use around the edge. And this is good because it's a good chance to actually look at your stamps and reorganise them. And often I find that actually sparks Mr MoJo to come back. I think he wants to see what I'm doing, really. Now, the other thing is you can choose the colours that you want to use, and also the ink. I'm going to stamp in VersaFine Clair ink, but I have had a play. Let me show you. Honestly, this is one of those techniques where once you start, you just can't stop. So this is another design I've done, and this just shows you this was with, so it's the same verse and it's to go on a 6x6 card blank, but I've used one of the pound stamps, one of the leaf pound stamps. And again, I just think that is so lovely, and I love the colour changes, and that's stamped in VersaFine Clair ink. Now this one I stamped in my oxide inks, and I've used the Snow Shrub and a different verse. I think this is this Summer's Ebb. But again, I had such fun looking, and this obviously would go on an 8x8 card. It's a larger piece of card. And this one, I've used my Elements ink pads. So again, it depends. So the elements are in the background and I've stamped with the elements. And this one, let me have a look. I think this one was Vine Flourish. So look at all the possibilities. And this one, I finished off, I added some of our liquid pearls. And once I started, I've got to be honest, I had such fun. And I edged this one with my charcoal pencils. So you can really mix it up, get the different designs by using different stamps, different colour tones. Honestly, it's such fun. I really hope you're going to enjoy this and join in. And we'll start off with a piece of card as normal. This is the 5.5-inch square. And this is just to go on a 6x6 card blank. And as always, I'll start off with my Sharpie pen and we'll just edge it. As you know, this is something I love to do, been doing it for years, and I just find it's a cheat because it saves me buying black card to mat and layer. But I have to do it at the beginning because you know me, if I do it at the end when I've stamped the design up, I'll end up whizzing my pen right across the card blank and spoiling my whole design. Now we'll start off by getting our verse, and we just need some post-it notes. And I find often my first stamping, it gives me a chance just to check that I've got the right amount of ink on my verse. So I like to stamp it on my post-it note first. And we'll just pop it sort of in the middle there. Then we'll just put that there, and I'm going to stamp now in the middle here. And that's stamped lovely, so I'm happy with the amount of ink I'm putting on there. And again, I'm just doing this in the black. Now, I'm sorry, I may put my head because it's important I get it sort of in the middle. Now, you could do all your stamping and masking off first and stamp your sentiment at the end. But for me, I worry that if my sentiment doesn't stamp perfectly, because as I say, I do worry about my stamping ability. So for me, I have to do the stamping first. But again, that says more about me than anything. So we'll just give that a blot. You know I worry about smudging it. And then we'll get our post-it notes here. And we'll just trim this down, I think, about there. That gives me a nice border. I want a nice border around this. I love this sentiment. So this is the one, fairy dust is like love. It creates magic whenever you give it away. And again, special, especially at the minute. And we'll just put that over, roughly over there, and sort of, I think not quite the middle, is it? I think I need it over that way a little. And again, you will take longer getting that just. That'll be fine. And what I'm going to do first is add a little bit of an aura, sort of a little bit of ink look round here, just to give me that nice crisp edge. And for that, I'm going to use my oxide inks. And I've got mustard seed, crackling campfire, faded jeans and ground espresso. Let's just get rid of that a minute. And what I wanted was, I wanted oxide inks in ones that I knew I had my VersaFine, because I'm going to do my stamping in my VersaFine Clair. So I checked that I'd got what, so my VersaFine Clair, I've got Pinecone, so that's a brown, and that'll go with my ground espresso. My mustard seed, I've got Cheerful, so that's fine. My crackling campfire is an orange, and I've got Summertime, and then my faded jeans is a blue, and I've got Twilight. So I've got corresponding colours. And all I'm going to do is take the lids off. Do you know, I'm sure my desk is getting smaller. I think the more crafting I do, is it just me? Please tell me. My desk just seems to get smaller and smaller. Right, I'm going to let a little bit of ink on my brush, dab it off on the lid. You see, ladies, I have been listening. And I'm just going to gently flick. And I've decided my yellow is along the top. So just a little bit with my stencil brush, that's all, no more than that. And then I'll come in with my orange, again, dab it in the lid, and just gentle flick, and then almost like nice little circular motions along that side to give an orange hue. And I'm going to work my way around, in with the blue. I'm just going to turn it round just because I find it easier. And obviously the post-it note isn't sticky along the bottom, so I want to be mindful. And it's quite a light blue, so I am aware I will need to, but I don't want to come in too heavy with the blue. I wanted this as sort of a hue rather than a definite colour. Now again, my brown's quite a deep colour. Again, I need to take a bit more off there, and just gently, gently. Yep, that's enough. I don't want any more brown. So I'll pop those lids on. She says, I think they're alive. And we'll put those out of the way. And then we'll do some stamping. Let's turn this over, and then it doesn't distract us with those lines. Now I'm going to come in with the lavender stamp. Now again, as I say, there are so many stamps that you could choose to do this with. Have a good look. I mean, you could use more than one stamp if you wanted. I just fancied having a go with one. And again, I'm going to turn mine round. I see I've got a little mark there. We'll just ignore that. Let's see if it'll... That's me getting ink on my fingers. These things happen, don't they? So we'll come in with yellow. Now, first of all, I just want to check my stamp is nice and clean. So we'll start with the yellow, and I think we'll put one in the middle there. And I'm doing it tone on tone. Now, this is the larger side. Again, it depends whether you're stamping round a square. You could use your circle mask and stamp. I'm going to add some second generation there. See, I was talking and forgot to do second generation on the other side. Where the colours meet, I just think it's nicer to do a second generation. But you see, I have to think about this. So in between colours, I'm just going to give my stamp a little bit of a wipe with a wet cloth and my Inky Binky. And we'll come in now with the orange down the orange side. And again, I'll stamp a full one there and a second generation there. Just think it looks nice with the two second generations sort of next to each other. And I'm only putting 3 because obviously that's a shorter side. So into the blue, and as I say, you could use 1 colour for this, you could use 2, top and bottom, could use, like I say, 4. You could use colours that blend and blend them into each other. So we'll add the blue now, and we'll put 1 in the middle. I want this to be quite a tall one. Now this is the one where you have to remind me first and second. So we'll go first and second. Sorry, excuse me. That dreaded tickle. And then we'll go first and second. Yeah. So again, clean once more. This is one of those techniques where I think it's going to be sort of quite addictive, and it's great because if you need a generic card, you know, a sentiment and just some stamping around. So stop talking and think first and second, and then this one first and second, and let's take that off. There we go. How pretty is that? Do you know what? I just think that would make, if you want to send a card, you could make a new home depending what your sentiment was. If you had to do a sympathy card, you could put one of your sympathy sentiments and actually use 1 colour or 2 colours. You know, maybe a little bit of yellow, a little bit of grey. I just think there are so many possibilities with this. And I know once I started, it was my friend Lisa, thank you Lisa, who gave me the idea for this. You know, I always credit the people, it's very important. And I have to say, once she started me doing these, I was just, how many other things can I do? What can I do? What we'll do is we'll just run, we'll dry that a little bit. And then we'll just come in with our charcoal pencils. And I think we'll add a little bit of shade into this one. Like I say, no 2 of these have ended up looking the same. They make lovely notelets, and maybe you could just change the stamp and change the sentiment. So I'm just going to add a little bit of shading up here. Now again, chalk pastel pencils are great for this. And I'm just using a paper stump to smudge instead of my finger. And then let's come in with the dark, because this, I want the shadow to be stronger. If you like your wiggly lines, you can put your wiggly lines on here. And this, we want the shadow darker along the bottom, especially this corner here, we would have more shadow. And then up the side here to that corner. There we go. Just to give it that 3D effect. Now again, if that's something you're not keen on, you don't have to add that. As I say, you can just finish these off however you fancy. Now, because I've got a smudge here, I'm going to add some little splats of ink, top and bottom. And because it's brown, what I would do is put a little bit of brown ink on my mat. Get my fan brush, which is in the water, it's always in the water, and then just add a few little splats up there, maybe a few just on the edge if I can get them on my verse, a few there, and a few here, look, just a few around the verse. I don't want too many, need a few more up here. Now, on my original, I've actually added the splats. I've mounted it on black card and added the splats on the card and on the card blank. If I bring this one in, look, you can see that the splats run right across all 3. So again, just mixing it up a bit. Now, if you wanted to add some sparkle, don't forget we've got our brilliant gel pens. And again, you could add some, especially here, look, with it being the lavender. You've got your glitters, your eco glitters. You could add some eco glitter. I'm just going in and adding a few little dots. I don't want to overdo it, and you won't see these yet till I lift it up. And I'm actually using the gold on all of them because I thought the tone went really well with all the colours, and it just ties it all together. And if I lift that up, look, you know my camera work's not very good. Can you see it just jazzes it up a bit, just gives you that little glint. And look how 3D this looks. So again, so many possibilities. Do you like it with the 3D frame? Do you like it flat? Do you like it with the splats? Or what about the other stamp design? This is so autumnal. Like I say, so many possibilities. Honestly, I really hope you go away and have a play with this. And please tag me and let me see. And again, remember, you inspire other people as well. There might be crafters that have missed this video. And by you putting your sample on, your work on, your card, they might think, oh, I'm a bit low. And they might see it and it might inspire them to have a go. And that's what we do on here. We're such a lovely family. And we just inspire each other all the time. So I'm hoping you enjoyed that. And thanks for joining me. So lovely to spend time with you. You take care. I'll pop back soon. And keep getting in touch. I do love to hear from you. Together, we will get Mr MoJo back, won't we? Lots of love and hugs from me. Bye for now.